All right, I got a video here from Kash Patel. Now, what I've seen from Kash Patel is he talks about New York City. But in this video, he's talking about LA because, you know, the whole country is falling apart. We got every city in the country that needs to do something differently than what it's been doing. And unfortunately, we have too many people in the country that think that this sort of behavior is acceptable because we should all be victims of violence and crime and stuff, which doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, oh, but they're just doing what they need to do to survive. Well, why are they hurting me in the process? Now, one of the issues with California is they don't have a sense of morality. They think that whatever they want, Californians, native Californians think whatever they want is like how it is going to be. That's it. And if you have a problem with it, even if you say, hey man, you know, when you do that, X, Y, Z, you're the bad guy. And they will actually get in your face and yell at you and actually even assault you if you call them out on their bad behavior. So this is a problem with California that needs to be addressed. But I don't think anybody's going to do it because the people who are natives here are the ones who are getting into higher positions and not like going, hey, you know what, maybe we should put out some PSAs about how to treat other people. Oh, what do you know? Anyway, let's dive into this video.
The LAPD chief says it's possible groups of local burglars have now adopted some techniques favored by the foreign groups that had been behind dozens of home burglaries across Southern California in recent years.
So the foreign groups are coming in and teaching native Angelinos, or Los Angelinos anyway, how to commit crime better. Great. Now this is Kash right here. If you don't know Kash Patel, this is him. Let's see what he has to say.
Wave of home invasions is sweeping over not just Southern California, but other areas of America as well. And while nobody in any of the recent California raids has been busted yet, all of these robberies have one frightening thing in common, something which most sanctuary city residents claim isn't happening.
Here we go again, another night, and more reports coming in of home break-ins, not one, but two through the San Fernando Valley, one of them ending in violence, gunfire.
They took everything.
This was the chaos left behind after burglars ransacked this Encino home a few weeks ago while the family was away, stealing 3 cars packed with anything the thieves could grab.
Police trying to calm fears, neighbors demanding better response from LAPD.
We were coming out of the car.
Well, neighbors demanding a better response from LAPD is not going to happen because LAPD police department is short staff, very short staff. They don't have the budget for it anymore because they cut the budget. Why? Probably because they can put that money into Karen Bass's pocket, I would imagine. I don't know.
My son immediately said, "Who's that?"
The realization hit fast. Ortiz says the men had just broken into her home and were running off with more than just spare change.
LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell saying that he's promising an increase in patrols in Encino. He believes the string of crimes happening there was connected to an organized crew from South America.
What were you saying earlier, just life in LA?
Oh, an organized crew from South America. Let's rewind this a little bit here because this woman is going to say something stupid, I'm sure. So why are there organized crime raids from South America in the United States? Oh, is it because of sanctuary cities? Is it because of the stupidity of leaving open borders? Oh, gee, they're not hurting anybody. They're just coming here for a better life. Yeah, okay.
South America.
What were you saying earlier, just life in LA?
It's life in LA.
No, this doesn't have to be this way, and it wasn't always this way. That woman didn't look young. She looked like she was in her 50s. And this is what life has been like. People that I talked to who've been here for years were like, people used to be nice here. This would be a nice place to live. Why is it that the whole state of California is losing population? What does it say on the screen? Home invaders are taking over California. Yeah, imagine that. Why am I not surprised? Guess what the solution to this problem is, people? Well, you can't even do this in California. You can own a gun. You're allowed to own a gun in California, but you can't shoot anybody. You have to leave. You have a duty to retreat. Stupid. Like, I can't retreat. I'm on the upper floor. I can't retreat. They'd probably say, you can jump out the window. No, I can't. I can't jump out the window. Are you stupid? Jump out the window and break my leg? Yeah, okay.
So these recent burglaries in California have yielded no arrests, but sometimes when these criminals get caught, turns out they're here illegally. And what nobody's talking about is this type of crime right here. It is most common in areas of the country that are not only sanctuary cities, but have also defunded and hamstrung their police departments, which explains why many of these criminals are never caught. And police in LA, where this new crime wave is taking place, have been preoccupied over the last few months dealing with their own residents who've been rioting and assaulting federal agents every chance they get, causing so much chaos. Officers are no longer around to protect the homes of the law-abiding. But it's not just
You have to escalate the use of force with the police officers. SWAT started in Los Angeles. Why did SWAT start in Los Angeles, huh? Wonder why. Because people are committing bigger and badder crimes in Los Angeles. The regular police should be going, we got all sorts of resources we can use to quell any kind of criminal uprising at all, period. That's just how it is. And when you pass a law that says, oh, you can shoplift $999 before it's a felony. So the police don't even show up because, oh, it's a misdemeanor. I have more important things to worry about because we're short-handed. What do you expect is going to happen? When you start reducing the police force and making every illegal act legal, no surprise.
Just a lack of police. That's a problem. Once you make yourself a sanctuary city, you become a magnet for the worst criminals on earth, who just had 4 years to walk in through our formerly open border, bringing with them sophisticated tactics local police departments and homeowners have never faced before. Tactics which are now becoming the go-to methods for robbing homes across America by burglars of all backgrounds. And that brings us to the real reason why we've got this wave of home invasions taking over the Los Angeles area. This is a crime that apparently pays big time, and since nobody gets caught, to criminals, that means they should try and do it again. Which means
So that's one thing that people don't realize. They talk about how the United States is one of the most violent countries in the world. It's like, I'm going to move to a different country where the crime is lower. There's not as much crime. No, violent crime is less, yes. But theft is rampant in a lot of South American and Central American countries. That's just the way it is. It's like, oh, you left your stuff unguarded. It's mine. That's how it is. Don't you know? It's ridiculous to me how it is people in California don't have that attitude. They do. A lot of them do, actually. It's like, oh, you left your stuff guarded, but not guarded well enough. It's mine. There you go. But a lot of times they don't. It's so weird. Like, some people have some sense of morality, and other people have no sense of morality at all. That's just kind of how California is. There's no actual overall arching. It's like the Wild Wild West. It's like, hey, the strong survive. But then you're not allowed to use a gun. And it's like, okay, how is it that we're going to keep the weak people alive and well then?
Means this robbery spree targeting wealthy progressives will likely get worse before it gets better, because the solution to crime is to bring in law enforcement. But oh no, that might mean somebody ends up getting deported, and nobody in California wants that. But this has brought things to...
Not true. I do. I'm in California. I want all of the people who've come here in the last 10 years, whether they came here legally, illegally, I don't care. All the people who've come to this country, period, in the last 10 years, kick them out. One way or another, get rid of them. I don't care how you get rid of them, get rid of them. Doesn't matter to me. I don't want them in here anymore. And anybody who's come here illegally within the last 50 years, definitely kick them out. Anybody who's come here illegally, period. If they're still alive and they're living in this country, gone. Bye.
To a point where being a sanctuary city is now costing its residents big time.
5 people were arrested in Fontana, believed to be a part of a transnational organized burglary ring. Detectives say the 4 men and woman dressed up like delivery workers.
By 1:50, 20 minutes after the initial door knock, 3 men run out with a backpack and suitcase, jump into the same white SUV, and drive off before officers arrive.
So here we've got a foreign theft group operating in a...
Before officers arrive, was there an alarm to signal the officers should come by? No, I'm sure there wasn't. They're acting like, oh, well, officers were alerted. Officers weren't even alerted to this stuff. Officers don't know about this stuff. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's like, oh, this is my 5th bike. The other 4 got stolen. You know what he did to keep his bike from getting stolen? What he finally had to do? He just bought an old beater. He bought an old beater bike. Nobody wants to steal it. It's like, I've left it out accidentally without being locked up and nobody's stolen it. So this is the solution. Buy something that's not nice.
Sanctuary city of all places. What a surprise. But as we're learning from the LAPD, once hordes of sophisticated criminals make your state their home, it won't be long before they teach other criminals the methods of their madness, which, as you're about to see, could cause the entire state of California to collapse.
Well, the LAPD chief says it's possible groups of local burglars who, it appears, are responsible for many of these recent break-ins have now adopted some techniques favored by so-called tourist burglars, the foreign groups that had been behind dozens of home burglaries across Southern California in recent years and had been using their own surveillance cameras to pick out homes to target.
Whoa.
They're replicating the tactics and MO of the South American burglary crews, using jammers, more sophisticated pre-incident surveillance, where they may have cameras laid out on the property or on a car parked on the street across from the target house for a period of time.
So they haven't caught anybody. They don't know who's doing the stealing. They do know that the tactics being used in these new crimes are exactly how foreign theft groups were robbing homes recently, and they do speculate that some of the crimes taking place in a nearby community were all related to a particular foreign theft group. But to be honest with you, it doesn't necessarily matter, because the fact that California is a sanctuary state allowed these foreign theft groups to come and set up shop in the first place. And when you've got illegal criminals who aren't even supposed to be here popularizing a new way to break into homes and steal people's American dream, what do you expect other criminals to do? Of course they're going to pick up on these tactics. Of course they're going to try to do the same thing. And this isn't just happening at people's homes. A few weeks ago, jewelry stores were being robbed in this same part of the country, and the criminals they caught doing this were people in the country illegally. They were using jammers. The tactics were exactly the same as what we're seeing at these home invasions.
Chief Jim McDonnell told the Board of Police.
Yeah, I mean, the cartels have been operating in the United States for how many decades now? Where do you think these ideas come from? Who's funding these ideas? You know, it's so obvious what's going on and why it's happening and how to stop it. Nobody listens to me, though. Maybe you guys do. It's like I said, just actually anybody who's been in the country, who came to the country, period, in the last 10 years, bye. Goodbye. I don't care how you got here. You're going home. We don't want you here anymore.
These commissioners today, these groups of thieves suspected in a lot of these recent cases have been caught with those Wi-Fi jammers that can disable some security cameras and systems, but he says they've also been cutting telephone and internet or camera cables, and in some cases using this new tactic of dropping a car off on the street with a camera running inside to remotely case a home or neighborhood. He says there's also a sophisticated network on the back end to sell the stolen loot.
So this is exactly what was happening in the recent jewelry store robberies. What happened was criminals cut cables in the street to disable hardened wired connections to a security system. If you have a little Wi-Fi camera, those jammers can take that out. They can also disrupt police radio traffic in the nearby area, which stops the ability of officers to communicate with each other and respond to an incident quickly and safely. It's all very, very dangerous. But this danger only exists because of California's sanctuary status. These foreign fugitives came into California, started doing their thing, and now they've caught both illegal immigrants and local burglars using these jamming devices, doing things the exact same way. It's almost like the criminal underworld has teamed up against the law-abiding in ways nobody ever would have predicted. Nobody who thinks being a sanctuary city or state is a smart idea, anyways.
They go after expensive handbags and jewelry and things that are easily be for resale.
Yep.
And then the crews generally transport that stolen property to a warehouse type arrangement, very organized, and then distributed from there.
Yep, that's exactly what they were doing in New York. A pawn shop in New York City was busted, teaming up with a group of people who were in the country illegally, who were robbing celebrity homes all over the country. They take whatever they steal and they bring it somewhere else and they sell it there to get rid of it. And what this
So this whole idea of warehouse type facility where they can sell it off, this is something that I first came across when I was a kid, and I watched this movie, My Blue Heaven, with Steve Martin. Watch that movie. He's a gang member, a gangster, mobster, who gets put into protective custody. He finds out that he's in a city where there's a lot of other mobsters that have been put into protective custody, and then they start a crime ring, and they're running a warehouse where they can take their stolen goods and then redistribute them.
probably means is that the criminals who are robbing homes all over Los Angeles, who haven't been apprehended yet, although we don't know who these people are, they're probably using the same fencing networks that were established by illegal immigrants to begin with. So what you have here is, at a minimum, you have criminals who came into America illegally, established a new way to commit crime, built the infrastructure to commit it, and it's now being used by basically everybody. And you better believe that if a new gang wants to use your criminal infrastructure, you're gonna make them pay for it.
They took everything. This was the chaos left behind
Look
after
at this
burglars
place.
ransacked this Encino home a few weeks ago while the
They
family
went in
was
every
away,
cabinet.
stealing 3 cars packed with anything the thieves could grab.
They took our passports, our social security cards, all our jewelry that they could find.
Mari, not her real name, is afraid to share her identity in case they come back because...
Well, okay, let me be hot take now. Mari here looks brown. Maybe she's just tanned, but most likely living in Los Angeles. She's from a southern country, you know, that's called Latin. You're one of these people who probably came here illegally. Your ancestors came here illegally, and now you're a legal citizen because they were here long enough. There are enough generations past that you're a legal citizen. And hey, these are your brethren coming here that you want probably to come here. Now she may be black, and her ancestors were brought here as slaves, or she may be Native American. In which case, she has every right to be here, in my opinion. But my question to you then is this. If you are living in a country founded by white people, for white people, and you're not white, why would you stay if you have the opportunity to leave? There's no question that they're Latin Americans. And this woman here looks like she's a Latin American, so, you know, you get what you deserve. I, however, don't want this stuff coming here. I never wanted this stuff coming here. My ancestors never wanted this stuff coming here. My ancestors came here illegally. Wow, what do you know? Oh, they came to disrupt the natives. That's illegal. The natives didn't have a country to come to, so it wasn't illegal. I'm not saying it was moral, but it wasn't illegal, so.
They already have. Just days after the first break-in, the intruders returned, and this time, Mari's family was sleeping inside.
They did get into her room.
Wow, that's insane. So this family who appear to have a fairly nice house. They've been robbed twice, and the first time they weren't even there. The criminals got everything plus 3 cars. Apparently that's insane. But what else did they steal? In addition to valuables, they took something else that's extremely valuable. They took people's identity documents. And what can you do with those? Well, if you're in the criminal underworld and you're in a sanctuary city, you got a lot of people out there who are willing to pay money to get themselves a social security number or a bogus US passport. And the identities of these people will probably be used to create fraudulent identities for an untold number of future criminals, which means these people are going to have identity theft problems for the rest of their lives because their home got robbed. But as you're about to see, instead of solving crime, it looks like to some residents that their own police department is engaged in a cover-up.
It's just one of dozens of residential burglaries in Encino over the past 2 years. Last week, just hours after LAPD told hundreds at a community meeting the number of break-ins is down, there were 2 more confirmed burglaries in town that very night.
Wow.
One, believe it or not, witnessed by Mark.
So as the police are up there saying, crime is down, we've got it, everything's fine, homes are getting robbed, and crime is going up. But that's because the police are not only short-staffed, their entire society has aligned itself against law enforcement by making it their mission to protect federal fugitives. And when you protect part of the criminal underworld...
So this right here, another hot take. This woman in the purple, this man in the blue pants, this other woman in the black skirt, this woman in all black, and this man over here in what looks like khakis. Why are these people upright right now? That's my question. You're impeding law enforcement. You can be arrested and in prison for that. You should be arrested and in prison for that. You got a car right here in front of them. You do the math.
Making it their mission to protect federal fugitives. And when you protect part of the criminal underworld, it's just going to establish itself. It's just going to grow. It's just going to expand in ways that none of the people who think these criminals aren't real can predict. And part of me thinks that the police don't want to know who these criminals are who are robbing their homes. They'd prefer it if these criminals just made this their last heist and just disappeared off into the sunset, because once we find out who these people are...
It's estimated upwards of 20 million people came into the United States illegally in the 4 years of Biden's presidency. 20 million. There's only one criminal organization doing this. It's just one.
And what they're actually up to, I think it's going to horrify all of us.
Also not her real name, who was at the meeting with her husband.
Watch them jump over a gate and run into a car and take off. That was kind of a breaking point for me, where you see that and you're like, it is this bad.
As LAPD steps up its patrols, terrified locals are looking for help anywhere they can, even from the highest levels of government.
Or consulting with, Department of Defense contractors to...
What about President Trump? What about ICE? They don't want help from the highest levels of the federal government. And you know something? I feel bad for the local police. You know there are law and order people on the police force, possibly even the police chief, but they know they're operating in a sanctuary city. They know they're operating in hostile territory.
David is ex-Israeli military and a professional paintball celebrity, now training locals. First, they get used to holding and shooting paintball guns that look and weigh exactly the same as the real thing.
That's a paintball gun.
And then practice with real guns at a shooting range.
Exactly what my goal is that they feel comfortable about using this in a situation. And that's where the muscle memory comes in.
If it seems extreme, it is. And they say things will only get more drastic until they feel...
That's extremely weak. It's not extreme, though. Teaching people how to use deadly weapons to defend themselves, that's not extreme. We should all know how to do that. All women in this country should be trained in martial arts from the time they're 12 to the time that they're 21. That's it. You get trained in effective martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, judo. Those types of martial arts that we're actually going to teach you how to fight in the situation that could come up. Why? Because they need to be able to defend themselves. Are they going to be able to defend themselves against a 6'4" guy who weighs 280 pounds? No, probably not. Are they going to be able to defend themselves against a guy who is 5'10" and weighs 185 pounds? Yeah, probably. Okay, so this needs to happen. Everybody needs to be aware of this. The country is falling apart. This is no longer a safe space. This is no longer a safe country. I recommend getting out of the country. If you're a man, especially if you're a young man, seriously, look into the Peace Corps, join the Peace Corps, get out for a couple of years, see the rest of the world, see at least a different part of the world, come back, and then you'll have a different perspective on the United States and what it is you need to do, possibly joining the military and just being stationed overseas for a few years, getting even more information, getting a paycheck in that way, and then you can use that money that you maybe save up from being in the military to relocate to a different country. But get the hell out, because what's going to happen here? We're going to have more and more of this happening. Obviously, Trump is trying to turn it around, but we'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to happen because they're becoming more desperate as they are looking at the options on the table where Trump is going to try to ship them back. And it's all a bunch of hype because Trump has shipped back so few people that it's just ridiculous.
Feel safe. For now, they have...
This is all the proof you need that progressive policies are an absolute failure. If you've got people going the home defense route to protect them and their families, well, that's not very progressive at all, is it? You're supposed to sit back and let law enforcement do everything, but we've progressively defunded our law enforcement, and we've progressively decided we're not going to put criminals in jail when they do things that are wrong. But as you're about to see, the real reason all of this is happening has to do with the fact that criminals don't get punished for anything here.
They get aggressive enforcement for vehicles that have tinted windows, don't have license plates, the kind of situations where by the police not doing what they I think should be doing is what allows people to get away with the crimes they're committing.
Right. So when they do this aggressive enforcement, when they go after vehicles with tinted windows or no license plate, they're not doing that. They're not going after those. It's not very progressive, but police have to start going after criminals for the little things, because if criminals get away with a little bit, they'll get away with a little bit more and more and more and more, and pretty soon they're in your home. And no one is coming to arrest them because the police are busy somewhere else. There's just so much crime going on. You essentially teach criminals that when they're teenagers and they steal from a gas station, nothing's going to happen to them. They get great at evading law enforcement. And what do they grow up and do? Well, some of them might grow up and decide to become criminals, and they've gotten a lot of practice at it because criminals don't suffer any consequences for what they do wrong.
Good start, but there's a lot more. We want the use of technology, which costs less than hiring police officers, surveillance cameras, drones, AI, and not just for Encino. Every community in the city.
So they don't want to hire police because they don't think police are a great idea. But what they do want is drones and AI. They want ChatGPT to stop criminals from breaking into their house. What's that going to do? We've already got plenty of video footage of these criminals robbing homes over and over again. But what does that show us? It shows us a bunch of people who are masked up, getting away with something before the police show up. You can have all the cameras in the world. Cameras don't stop crime.
Well, he has a valid point, but that's not entirely true. Cameras do stop crime. Cameras are a deterrent. That's why you see those signs. You'll see those signs, say this property under video surveillance, whatever. Because people will see that and go, oh, okay, well, I don't want to commit a crime because, hey, they'll get my face on camera and then they'll be able to arrest me. Now, that's becoming less of a deterrent, obviously. But also people are realizing that, hey, those signs are often a lie. Even video cameras. People put up video cameras that don't do anything. They don't record anything. There's just a video camera there. People are figuring this out. I worked, when I was working for the hospital, I did courier work. I would drive behind this one shopping center, and as I drove back there, I would say, look, video surveillance. I never saw a single video camera back there. I don't know where this video surveillance was. Why did they put up those signs? Keep people from breaking the law back there. But it's becoming less effective. Cameras are becoming less effective. There's so many people out there committing crimes. If you get, 1 million people in LA committing these crimes, the police can't arrest 1 million people. What are you going to do?
Do with those cameras could enable you to stop crime. But recording crimes of masked individuals and playing them back for the news after these things have already happened, well, it doesn't exactly stop that crime because that crime's over. That crime's been recorded. It happened. People lost everything. They lost their passports. They lost their cars. They've been bankrupted, and now they're going to have identity theft problems for the rest of their lives. To me, the solution here is pretty obvious. Build a jail. Fill it up. But what do you think? Thanks for watching.
Building jails and filling them up has not been a deterrent. Our jails are full in this country. Our jails are over capacity in this country. So that's not going to be the solution to the problem. The solution to the problem is to start arresting and deporting people, period. Stop sanctuary cities. For you, dear viewer, learn to shoot and buy some guns. I just ordered some pepper spray because I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. There's too much violence going on around here. So I'm going to get my concealed carry permit if I can. I own guns, so, I own swords, I own spears, I own knives. You got to defend yourself. I own baseball bats. You got to defend yourself some way, somehow. As I'm getting older, I don't have the strength to stand up to somebody my own size or even bigger, because I used to do that. We used to train. I used to take on guys bigger than me. And I had enough strength that I could take them on and win in many cases because I had the skill that they didn't have. But if somebody's as skilled as I am and bigger and stronger than me, I'm going to lose every single time. That's just how it is. Maybe not every single time, but almost every single time. Because they have advantages that I don't have. So I'm a small guy. 50% of the population is female, roughly. Ladies, even if you're a big woman, you're not going to be stronger than the average man. You're just not. The average man is like twice as strong as the average woman. So you got to do something to defend yourself. I don't want to see any women out there getting essayed. That's not acceptable behavior. So do what you can to keep yourself safe. Now I'm going to show you a quick video that shows you what is fueling all of this. This is from a young woman, an illegal alien, I think, actually, graduating from UCLA.
Excuse my language, but to that I say fuck ICE and fuck the Trump administration.
That's all I got for this time. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed. YouTube does unsubscribe people. I appreciate all you for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video.